What's good, YouTube, and welcome to the house. I don't usually do a rant, but I realistically feel the Megatins were one of the biggest cash grabs that Konami did all year. They put Zodiacs in there knowing they were going to limit them very soon afterwards, and then they reprinted card after card after card that was in there in the following months. It's actually just insane. I get this is a reprint set. I get the promos are supposed to help the value. I personally did not invest in the Megatins at all, and I'm somewhat glad I stayed away. So if you're wanting to go for cards in the Megatins, you're about to have the true bottoming out. Ghost Reaper was high because it saw heavy meta play. It may even see a spike again once people realize Spyrals aren't quite dead yet. I might want to hold on to these. A lot of people are tossing them aside thinking, okay, I don't need this for this meta, but they might end up going back up a little bit. But Cyclone and D-Barrier are the next highest cards about to receive reprints. What are the next highest cards? Toad and Foolish Burial Goods, two really good cards that are somewhat undervalued in my opinion. These are two of the cards left. And then we get into your next highest cards already have reprints. Magician's Navigation and Dark Magic Circle. You literally sold these tins with Yugi and Kaiba on the front. Most people went for these because of Yugi and Kaiba. And then you released one of the best products all year that has 3 Mirror Forces in it. It has all of the Dark Magician cards, the legendary Dragon decks. This is the complete package. This should have been released as its own product, and the Megatins should have hit different cards. But instead, there's only 15 Secrets, 15 Ultras. Zoo was immediately hit, so those were dead draws. Then you put some of the best cards again in them directly in a product after the complete package. Konami's done great with products like this. They did amazing with Battles of Legend. Let's give due credit where it's due. But I also want to criticize that in making those amazing products, you really took any worth out of your product that's supposed to be product of the year, the Megatins. You just rehashed and reprinted and reprinted. So soon Cosmic Cyclone, which is up where it is because it's seeing high meta play, will go down. People will still want holos. It'll hold $4 to $5. But it will go down with a common. Tons of those structures are going to be open for Tri-Gate Wizard, and Cosmic Cyclone may be one of the most valued commons out of there, helping it keep a price, but it's its third rendition of a card within, you know, a year and a half, so I expect it to go down. Dimensional Barrier's getting its common. Of course, it looks amazing in secret, but as links came out, every single deck found a way to continue their plays without having to dip into their extra deck for what this card does. Now, it does stop rituals in addition to extra deck cards, so that's nice if a ritual deck takes over, I suppose. You stop Ritual Fusion, Synchro Xyz, or Pendulum. Pendulum decks are kind of huge right now too, but again, getting reprinted. And then all your next biggest cards seem to be hidden there. Solitaire, another good pick. That's why it's high at $2. Can you believe saying that about a set? Front page high at $2 of the reprint set of the year. It's crazy. Which honestly, that title now goes to Battles of Legend. Let's face it. That title, another reprint, fully goes to Battles of Legend. Golly, the legendary decks combined with other sets just really make me mad at the Megatins. But chilling out, let's go ahead and get into what's happening with the market itself. Now, the whole point of this is, if you're considering Megatin cards, it's bottoming out right now. Now would be the time to get what you're picking. Maybe you think Whitestone of the Ancients will go back up over time. It might be a good time to trade for or get those, that sort of thing. But you're about to see the set truly bottom out. I know VCT RFS loves Full Force Virus. It's actually, is that creeping up from where it was at? I have no clue. I just know it's already been in the $1.50 and under range. I thought it was $1, so maybe it is slowly creeping up. Creep, creep, creep. But let's go ahead and get into the market watch with Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring chilling at $75 before a moderate play. So if you want a near mint copy, 76 actually over here. It is the hand trap. I cannot emphasize it enough. It is the strongest, beefiest, best hand trap that there is. That's a fact. And not an opinion, obviously, because I am the say-so. But realistically, it's proven itself to be in more decks than any other hand trap. The only reason it's not in your deck, probably, is price point if you don't have it. Which I still theorize we could easily see this come out in a gold series later in the year like Ghost Ogre did. But we see over here that if we go to the actual pricings, let's flip that to buy it now and find the actual prices that aren't scams. We see $72 near mint, so cooling down a little on eBay from where it's at, but overall it's up. A lot of people just, when a ban list happens, they panic, they don't know what to get, and they went for Ash Blossoms with their trades and money, knowing no matter what, it transfers over and it does really well. Besides that, again, strongest hand trap 2K17. A lot of people could argue Droll is in that position as well. As one of the strongest hand traps, it's still going to be good, but I feel like Ash Blossom will stay in the main, and if you're not playing Trick Stars or you have like some phobia of, say, True Dracos, you're probably moving Droll to the side deck if you're not in those categories. Evenly Matched is up. It's $64. I watched Robbie Cole's Market Watch. He said it was actually at a low of 75 in the morning. When he refreshed his tabs, it was actually still higher than this price. So somebody really went ham trying to make Evenly Matched a $70+ card, but sellers are quickly saying, all right, I'll take lower than that, I'll take lower than that, and it's cooling back down. I was thinking it might creep to 70 myself. So it wasn't the worst move in the world, but it proved that its price point will probably remain lower as long as there's a quantity of sellers. And you see all these are brand new listings. 64, 64, 65, 66, 67, all brand new. It was bought out to a ridiculous point on both platforms, not just TCG players. So there's the proof in the pudding, all those new listings being lower than the other mark. So it kind of proves that this card's not going to, you know, naturally reach that 70 point. It was trying to be forced to that point, and it couldn't hit there. Still an amazing card. You definitely play 3 of these going second. Try to just wipe your opponent's entire board presence. It's kind of the next debated card like Pot of Desires of, oh, do I need it? I don't need it. Is it that good? Is it not that good? Banishing your opponent's entire field outside of one card, that's pretty good. And set rotation, you now have to run a dead field spell for 1 copy. You have to draw that 1 copy to counter 3 of these. It's just not worth it. So you've got to find different ways to counter Evenly Matched, such as Artifact Lancia and Imperial Iron Wall. SPYRALs have actually rebounded a little since our last market watch. People were panic selling, and then new combos came out, and people showed, man, this deck can still work like the nuts. It can still go out there, and Double Helix, it's up there still at 20, and Agent's actually starting to chill back up to 11 and 12. And it bottomed out a little lower if you remember on eBay, and eBay is starting to recover as well with a low of $13. You might have remembered it was all the way down to 10, and I think there were even listings at 9s on the panic sales. So people have realized, hey, this deck's still going to be doing something. In my top 10 immediately after the ban list, I put SPYRALs at 6. I may have put it way too low in the top count because it's showing that it can still do it, but it does it much more fragile than it did before. So hand traps really might still be part of the format because it really busts this up if it still sees its meta play. And we go on over to Double Summon, the card that everyone will be switching to over Machine Dupe indefinitely if they want to make their Double Helix without Drone Super Agent, and they want a chance at, like, say, summoning Drone and then doing Quick Fix and then doing it and hitting their top card. Double Summon will probably be the most consistent way to do that, besides maybe the Brilliant package if you want to run Garnet. I don't know how SPYRALs will fill out going forward, but every single version of this card is a lot. We see $4 lowest over here for the Gear Rampage deck, finally giving some value to that terrible structure that you could bust open for $5. Maybe you can go bust open a ton of those, and because I know a lot of vendors were actually selling them for $5 to break even on cost, but at this price, there's just one before. There's not many. There's only 11 total prices, so maybe you could actually find some of those on vendors who've never sold out if you think you could sell these in time. But overall, it's just disappearing from the market under the 5 point. We don't even see the War of the Giants common over here. And on eBay, it is indeed a low of 447 on the near mint from the Gear structure as well. That's probably the most common one that you'll find, but it definitely is fading away from the market. So That's your best bet, honestly, is finding a vendor who's selling that Gear structure for cheap. Anti-Spell Fragrance is a suggestion by me, as pendulums go back up a lot. My favorite card against them actually isn't Anti-Spell, but a lot of people choose this one at $2 as it locks them down harder. It makes them summon Purple Poison Ram to get rid of this and basically enter the main phase 2, so long as they're not struggling battling you. You know the new metagame, it's real fun. But Anti-Spell Fragrance, the Battles of Legend one, is only at $2. Remember, during the height of Pendulum format, it went from like $1 to $3. It's still chilling at $2. We could possibly see it go back to $3 or higher. But it's just a good card to have without spending a lot of money. You should have this no matter what, in my opinion. But the real best card against them and other decks, because you get mileage against decks that are very centric on being able to put up their back row, is Unending Nightmares, such as against Spyrals. Hear me out here. You can actually hit the field spell and other stuff. They pretty much have to have the drone and Super Agent already without searching Super Agent. So Unending Nightmare actually isn't one of the worst cards. And you hit the big red, you hit the what's his face, the Equip Last Resort. You hit a lot of stuff with Unending Nightmare against them. So it's not the worst side-in against other decks. Sometimes True Dracos, you'll at least get a 1-for-1, if not a +1, out of Unending Nightmare hitting their spells or hitting their diagrams. I end up siding it in against them. But of course, the main point is pendulums, and it's actually creeped up about $1 over time, which isn't the most, but it's still a great floodgate to have that gets more multi-deck purpose, I feel like, than Anti-Spell overall, where like they could just against your Anti-Spell set one of their spells and then tribute for True Draco and pop your Anti-Spell and then start playing. A lot of the time, if the Anti-Spell's not up and you have your floodgate down, they'll go for the diagram play first. You'll hit the diagram and you'll get one more card with Unending Nightmare against the Draco deck. It's not the best. I'm not claiming it's the best against them, but this is very good against Pendulum and other decks where Anti-Spell sometimes struggles against the other decks. This just feels like it has more potential against a bigger variety of decks as actual use. So thanks for watching. What do you think of today's Market Watch? Definitely sorry if I ranted a little too long about the Megatins, but the main point actually is for you guys. These are pretty much the bottom out prices, and if you want to start picking up what you want to from this set, now would be pretty much the time. But I also just feel like Konami should consider what they're doing with their sets like this, when they're gonna like have half of it get banned, and not literally half, the zoos get banned, and then they were gonna reprint everything within a 3-month period. It's kind of crazy to me.